Ghostbusters. How great is this movie? Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, the late Harold Ramis. I tell you, nothing gets me more excited to watch Ghostbusters like playing Luigi's Mansion.
Yes, Luigi's Mansion. Made by Nintendo. And released as a launch title for the GameCube on November 18th, 2001 in the US. Luigi's Mansion was the second title in the Mario franchise to feature Luigi as the main character. Good for you, Luigi. Finally a chance to do something on your own. So what's the story behind Luigi's Mansion? Well, you can read all about it in the booklet provided. Oh yeah. No! Luckily, if you don't have the booklet, the game does a pretty fine job of telling you the story piece by piece. So one day, Luigi gets a letter informing him that he won a mansion in a contest. The weird thing? Luigi didn't even enter.
That's not suspicious at all.
Luigi invites Mario to meet him at his new mansion to celebrate. Mario arrives at the mansion first and finds that the mansion is haunted. The ghosts then capture Mario and trap him inside of a portrait.
Yeah. Why not?
Luigi arrives later, and upon exploring his new mansion, encounters the ghosts, which isn't good because Luigi is afraid of ghosts.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I'm not afraid of ghosts. But Luigi is. I am playing as Luigi, though. So I guess I'm moderately afraid of some ghosts? I'm moderately afraid of some ghosts. That was terrible.
Things look bleak for Luigi, until an elderly scientist by the name of Egad saves him with his handy ghost-capturing device, the Poltergust 3000. Gad's not as young as he used to be, though, and decides to let a young sprout like Luigi handle the ghost-busting. Luigi gets equipped with the Poltergust and a communication/investigation device called the Game Boy Horror, and the journey to find Mario begins. So the game is broken into 4 areas. You go from room to room, clearing them of ghosts and collecting keys to the other rooms of the mansion. There are a lot of common ghosts scattered about the mansion. Orange ghosts, ghosts that grab you, beefy blue ones, lame jump scare ones. Stupid banana peel ones. With a lot of other smaller animal ghosts like mice or bats. But the main attraction of the game are the portrait ghosts. They have a more humanoid shape. Usually. Ugh. And they've apparently escaped from the portraits that Egad kept them in. You come to learn that the Boos freed them from their portraits, and they've taken residence in the mansion. The portrait ghosts are really the most fun and interesting fights in the game. Each one has a unique way to catch them off guard and trigger the fight, but some can be a bit tough to figure out. Okay, I know this is where I'm supposed to go. I've interacted with everything in the room. A few of the portrait ghosts are optional, but I couldn't tell you which ones. If I came across one, I just captured it. And can I say how horrible it must be to be a ghost in the Mario universe? I mean, the portrait ghosts are just living their lives. They're not attacking or bothering anyone. But your job is to capture them, to send them back to their painted prisons. My gosh, no wonder Boos are evil. At the end of each area, upon beating the boss, you go back to Egad's lab to see the ghosts you captured get washed, shocked, and pressed back into their frames, where they will stay there presumably forever. Even the fortune teller ghost, who refers to the existence within the painting as a beautiful sleep, seems to have second thoughts when Luigi starts to capture her. Finally, I can return in peace to my painting. Okie dokie. Oh, wait, no, that hurts. Oh, no, 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 no. But the portrait ghosts aren't the only thing haunting the mansion. Once you get to the second area, Luigi triggers an event that forces all of the Boos out of hiding. There are 50 Boos that hide in various rooms of the mansion, and you have to interact with objects in the room to get a chance to capture them. Although sometimes they'll leave the room and trick you by dropping a Boo ball or a bomb.
Where do you get off?
But finding the Boos isn't all fun and games.
Jumanji.
Unlike the other ghosts that kind of tether you to them when you're capturing them, the Boos aren't held by the Poltergust. It still reduces their HP, but they're free to roam around, which can make certain Boos extremely tedious to capture. The ones that only have around 60 HP are nothing, but the Boos with about 300 have a nasty habit of flying in and out of rooms and hallways, causing you to have to go back and forth every second just to whittle a little more of their HP away. Early on, the Boos say that they have power in numbers, which led me to believe that the more Boos I had captured, the weaker Boo-related bosses would be. However, capturing the Boos doesn't aid you against any boss fights. You only need to capture 20 Boos in the game to be able to progress.
Collecting all the Boos has to give me something cool, right?
If you do collect all 50, you get a big gem to help your score, and that's all.
Money? Just money? That's all I get? Oh boy. Next you're gonna tell me that getting all the shine sprites in Super Mario Sunshine isn't even really worth it.
It's not.
What?!
And because this game is just pun-horrific, all the boos have pun names. Bamboo, Taboo, Peekaboo, Game Boo Advance.
Okay, that one's pretty funny.
You'll also get medals in the game that allow you to spray different elements once you capture their respective spirits. You mostly use this power to solve puzzles or trigger portrait ghost fights, which is good because when you do have to use the elements to fight, it's terrible. Spoiler content ahead because this is something I have to address. The third boss of the game is a giant boo called Boolossus. This fight is a blemish on the preteen face of an otherwise entertaining game. So you have to suck Boolossus up and impale him on a unicorn statue's horn to split him into 15 boos. You then have to freeze the boos to be able to suck them up. They'll only stay frozen for a few seconds and then fly away from you if you try to suck them up or freeze them. And while it's not an issue when all 15 boos are out, when you're down to only a few, it comes down to sheer luck. I read that you're able to shoot a shard of ice at the boos by quickly hitting the L button, but I'm hitting it quickly over and over and it barely responds, if at all. And for some reason, only in this fight, when you hold the button down to spray ice, there's a huge delay in it. This whole ordeal just leaves a sour taste in your mouth. I mean, the final fight is tough, sure, but it should be. It's the final fight. This fight just feels unnecessarily difficult. And I wanted to make sure it wasn't just me that felt this way, so I asked a dear friend of mine what she thought of the Boolossus fight, and this is what she had to say. It made me want to murder 1,000 Banshee babies.
Well, that's better than anything I can come up with. That's it. Video over. Done.
That's really the biggest gameplay issue I have with Luigi's Mansion, although there are other minor things in the game that can be a bit frustrating too. Oftentimes when capturing ghosts, they'll get hits on you that you could do nothing about. But you know what? All in all, I enjoyed Luigi's Mansion. It's by no means perfect. It's a short game, it's even shorter if you know what to do. It has a fair amount of gimmicks, it can be kind of frustrating at times. But there's something about the game that's just fun. Sucking up ghosts with a vacuum is just an enjoyable activity, one that doesn't quite translate into a real-life experience. This is fun! This... nah, not so much. So if you're in the mood for some Mario-style ghost busting, give Luigi's Mansion a try.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.